Good evening, I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News. It's Tuesday News Day. And let's see, are all the streams working? Is my microphone working? It is. How about Kick and Twitch are fine. Rumble seems okay, but yes. Party is on. And yes, everything seems functional. Okay, let's get to the stories then. If I can find the right bit where I'm supposed to click. Here. Okay, so the first story is the most important story of the past week is the Epstein files fiasco. With the celebrities being handed the files and well, let's just see, or e-celebrities. Wait, where is it? Here. This one. So yeah, these, basically, I don't know, it's so idiotic. Like I can't. It's rotting my brain just looking at the video of them. So they were given some sort of Epstein files, but I think it's stuff that was pretty much already out in public anyway. So that wasn't like nothing was actually revealed. At least at the guy in the hat, he seems embarrassed. The other ones are so happy to be dancing with those stupid folders. So yeah, these are some sort of Twitter celebrities, e-celebrities, allegedly conservative and stuff. And because the new FBI director Kash Patel, he said that within 24 hours when he's sworn in, he's gonna release the Epstein files. But it's been a week or something since he was sworn in, and we've got only this thing and those files. They are not much. And then Japan Bondi gives early release of Epstein files to associates of people named in the files. This is a joke. So yeah, there's this guy Cernovich, Mike Cernovich, and Alan Dershowitz. They are, I don't know, associates. And Dershowitz, I get my underwear on during the massage at Epstein Mansion. So yeah, he was an Epstein associate. Dershowitz. So yeah, it's you could say there's a conflict of interest or something. And then the White House even rickrolled, or House Judiciary GOP rickrolled people with Epstein files. So they posted some link. Yeah, so House Judiciary GOP. So this is, I assume it's some governmental, US governmental Twitter account. So yeah, and they gave this link, Epstein files, and then it redirects to Rickroll. Never gonna give you up. So I don't know. This is like, it's quite serious. Like they're just mocking people, but at least they have a sense of humor. Like the pedophiles in charge of our country. So I guess that's something. And yeah, there's the story again. So yeah, GOP House Judiciary Committee led by Jim Jordan posted a link to the Epstein files. When clicking the link, it leads to the URL that links to the Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up music video. The GOP rickrolled its voters. They are laughing at you. They know how dumb you are. They know there's nothing you can do, this guy says. And Moshi Moshimon here comments that, could you imagine if it were 2022 and Biden said, I'm going to release the Epstein files, and next day Vaush, how is it supposed to pronounce, Destiny and Hassan were all giggling in front of the White House with folders that said, Project Ice Cream Phase 1. Seriously, fire whoever bright idea this was. Yeah. Yeah, this was the only gentleman. Yeah. He's the only guy for the job. Just, just look at this idiocy. And yeah, here it says, so this is supposedly from the folder. They literally hid everything that implicated Mossad's connection in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Get outraged. Well, no, it's not like, it's not really that you should, react emotionally, but rationally, like, address the situation. But yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, something, child prostitution is all redacted pretty much. Yeah. So either POTUS is further entrapping Z Jews by placing them strategically as the gatekeepers of this information, or you should buy guns, lots of them, because your democracy is an illusion. So yeah, these influencers like DC Drano, Libs of TikTok, Liz Wheeler, Jack Posobiec, and Mike Chernovich, all are very pro-Israel, the ones who got the files. Yeah, so I don't know, are they, is it some, like somebody said, probably jokingly, that it was, 5D chess from Trump to out these influencers as complete fakes. But maybe, or it doesn't really matter. I guess it was good in the sense that, it exposes the ridiculousness of the situation even further. Why is this here? Okay, this story is not supposed to be here. That's much later. So yeah, this is Representative Anna Paulina Luna. I know the task force were given or reviewed the Epstein documents being released today. A New York Post story just revealed that the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment. Get us the information we asked for. And this is one of the Chad Brother, one of the guys who got, hey, Agent Double Hurts, welcome, and your ducks too. So yeah, this was one of the guys dancing in the video. So to be clear, yes. Well, maybe I should show this first. So yeah, they said, like, DC Drainer and Chad Bradrow said pretty much the same thing. Today I met with President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, AG Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Kash Patel in the Oval Office. They handed me a Biden copy of Epstein's part. This is most transparent administration in American history. And the best part, this is just the start. AG Bondi confirmed there are thousands more Epstein file documents being secretly held in SDNI, and they will be delivered to the DOJ in DC by February 28th. Well, February 28th has passed already, so what's going on with the documents? But the point is, these two different people posted pretty much the exact same text. Explaining the how they were invited to the White House and the incident. And then Chad Brother said that, so to be clear, yeah, because people called them out, I copied and pasted DC Drano's statement with the intention of it being used as a quote. There was no messaging. I'm just now realizing that the quote and edit wasn't what got posted. My fault, 100%. But then the community note says Chad Prather could not have copied and pasted Rogan or Handley's post DC Drano, as Chad made his statement 13 minutes before Rogan's. So it's, these people have become the new mainstream media because their words and opinions are equally as dictated as the mainstream media. And people used to complain about the left-leaning mainstream media, but this so-called right-leaning mainstream media, influencer media, isn't any better. They're not real people with real ideas of their own. They're just repeating whatever line they're being told to repeat. And yeah, 1984 says, once you lose your integrity, it's gone forever. Nothing you do or say will ever get it back. Once you betray public trust on behalf of a foreign nation, you are a traitor forever. Every word you say is thereafter suspect. Every lie you tell will be exposed. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're never gonna believe this. The Epstein files are more redacted than what's already publicly available. This is a massive, massive scam by the Trump admin. I don't trust them. I don't trust anyone trying to make excuses for them. So, yeah, this is supposedly from the folder that these influencers got, and everything is pretty much redacted. Or, well, there's some names there, but then here are just like addresses and phone numbers of these people. Yeah. So this is some older release. And yeah, there's more pictures of heavy redactions of the files and stuff. So this is and this is this like is this a meme or is this actually from the folder? It's just black screen. This is like modern art, just a black square or rectangle. And here the quartering is pointing out something interesting. Why would frauds like DC Drano admit to it? He gained 30,000 followers in a single day yesterday due to the PR stunt. Me, for calling it out, I lost 500. Ha ha ha, truth is not rewarded. Yeah, you can say that again. So, yeah. Yeah, well, 29,000 for DC Drano. I wonder if they're bots like, some accounts managed by the US government or some governmental agency. And yeah, here. Any comment, fellas? You said it wasn't a photo op. You said nobody gave us talking points. I find it curious you all posted nearly the exact same statement. Pathetic. So, the most transparent administration in American history. Most transparent administration in American history, blah, blah, blah. They're all saying pretty much the same thing. So, yeah. And it did state this on the folder, but if they actually check that folder and it's as heavily redacted as these earlier pics point out, then it's certainly not that transparent, unless you can see through, see through the black squares on the pages. And citizen journalist given the Epstein files just admits he plagiarized to save time. What a mess. So yeah, here is Chad Brother. Yeah, he said he plagiarized, but then earlier pointed out it even that was a lie. That Brother he had posted his comment before DC Drano. Unless maybe they exchanged DMs and DC Drano wrote this message first and then sent it to Brother on a DM and then Brother, yeah, probably not. um And yeah, here's this guy, James Lindsay. He says, whatever role Israeli intelligence and if any with the Epstein whatever role Israeli intelligence had, if any, with the Epstein operations, and there's likely to be a significant role played, the propaganda that will result from its exposure will be incredible, dishonest, and extremely divisive. George Floyd Devil division will follow. So it's like he's admitting there's gonna be Israeli intelligence related to Epstein files, but so how it be? I can believe that it's gonna be divisive if it gets exposed. Well, it has been sort of exposed already, but like I don't know, even more blatantly exposed. But it's not. Is it dishonest if it's the truth? So releasing the Epstein files will indict Israel. Yeah, release the Kraken. Yeah, sure. Uh, and just a reminder of this article from 2020. A Jeffrey Epstein book claims he and Ghislaine Maxwell were Mossad spies who filmed US politicians and power players having sex with underage girls to blackmail them. Yeah, the good summary. And see no community note or anything. So as far as I know, this claim hasn't been debunked. And and this is Kash Patel's girlfriend, supposedly. So Kash Patel's girlfriend works with the Jewish-founded PragerU, whose CEO was in the Israeli Defense Force and 8,200 intelligence agency. Can we spell handler? Yeah. So wait, is her name Marissa Stride or Alexis Wilkins? Which is her name? Okay, I guess it's Marissa Straight. So moved to Israel. Military intelligence unit 8,200 of the Israel Defense Forces. So yeah, military. Think there's somewhere else it says that this 2,800 it's some sort of psyop division or something. And for those who haven't figured it out yet, Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. You don't mind me if I go through all my receipts of con ink peeps who lied to you about Pizzagate? I guess. Pizzagate is whether that one particular pizzeria had anything to do with, trafficking of children. That's one thing, but it's clear that, Epstein had such things and, his associates as well. Yeah, what if this is why Kash Patel doesn't release the Epstein files? So yeah, Marissa Stride, yeah, military intelligence unit, 8,200 of the Israel Defense Forces, and Alexis Wilkins was a devout 24-year-old Christian when she met Kash Patel, a 42-year-old Hindu Muslim, and wait, Hindu Muslim started dating. So is he Hindu or Muslim? Or what does that mean? Okay, now I'm confused. I'm not sure like who is Alexis Wilkins and who is Marissa Stride. Which one is the girlfriend? I'm not gonna go into that rabbit hole right now. This looks like Alexis Wilkins. Yeah, it says Alexis Wilkins here. Uh, but this Hindu Muslim, what does that mean? Is it like a typo? Does it mean like Indian Muslim? But he was sworn in on the Badaga Gidwa, whatever. So, yes, I don't know. But yeah, still um, his girlfriend does work for the PragerU, apparently, at least, which is very pro-Israel university. But anyways, let's move on to the next story. If I can just find this one. Yeah, but before I do that, I should point out the important thing to remember from all of this is that since, uh, the Epstein files have not been released, and, we know that uh, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, they traffic children or underage girls to various people for blackmail purposes and stuff. So government people in the government, probably people in business, banking, finance, whatever. So since that the criminals who cooperated with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, since that's not made public, and they are not being arrested or prosecuted or anything, you should assume that pretty much every politician and person of influence is involved in it until proven otherwise, because that's how it seems to be. Like either you're this is like well, I guess in this case you can use the George W. Bush logic, like either you're with me or you're with the terrorists. So either you're for prosecuting the pedophiles or you are for protecting them. So, and if I was somebody with you know political clout, any kind of influential person in any way, I would certainly use my influence to get justice on the world, and also to read United States and any other countries that are involved in this blackmail network, to get them released from this criminal organization. So yes, to just to reiterate my point, like you should assume every politician is um, somehow involved in this stuff until proven otherwise, because that's how it pretty much seems like. Okay, but wait, I didn't move to the next picture yet. So yeah, arguing with Zelinsky. I don't know, boring headline, but I do like how the AI depicted Zelinsky in this picture. So yeah, Trump is pausing all military aid to Ukraine because, well, they had a bit of an argument in the White House. Trump, J.D. Vance, and Zelensky. So that's good, but does it mean that he's pausing financial aid or other kinds of aid? What's going on with this? Come on. Okay. And then there's this. So I'm not going to show the whole argument because everybody's probably seen it, or you can see it online. But they it got sort of somewhat heated. But I'm just going to show this more short clip where Zelensky supposedly, allegedly called J.D. Vance a bitch in Ukrainian.
Thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to. I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour.
So he said "chuka chuka" whatever. I think it's like "chuka blyat" or something, is some insult in pretty much every Slavic language, I think. Don't speak any Slavic languages, but that's how I understand it. But anyway, but some people have pointed out that it doesn't necessarily mean that he's calling JD Vance a bitch. Like it's that somebody said that it's sort of used as just damn or fuck or something like that. So he's just cursing because he's annoyed, and that's I'll grant him that. Maybe that's what he meant, but it's still not very presidential. Like generally speaking, at least when I was young, it wasn't acceptable for politicians, especially in formal occasions like this, to use swear words. Like it would have, just imagine in the 80s or 90s, some politician in an occasion like this using a swear word. It would have been a scandal of some sort. Like maybe it would have been okay if they did it in a party or something, but like this, yeah, it's not very presidential and it's not diplomatic. Uh, and this is, well, related to the Ukraine situation, because German industry begins calling for a return to Russian natural gas as the economy is on a path of decline. Bloomberg and yeah, call Putin Hitler by Hitler's gas. Are they retarded? Yes, like weren't they also? Germany was wanted to escalate the conflict with Russia further or something. But I don't. Well, they just had the election like a week ago, so maybe they're gonna change their tune after that, like to be less hostile to Russia. I don't know, but maybe. To load this, and then there's Keir Starmer wants to put UK boots on the ground and planes in the air to defend a peace deal in Ukraine. So, and they're here. George Alexopoulos points out or says, "Don't worry, lads. We will replace you with several legions of the finest migrants who will remain behind in Britain to protect your wives and children after you are sent into a meat grinder." Yeah, that's basically it. So maybe there's somebody else who should go to the meat grinder instead of the regular British man. Some other guy. They should send him first. Okay, do I have this twice here? I guess I have. Okay. Um, wait, why is this twice here as well? Well, I had technical issues because this is different browser now. Because usually I use Waterfox for these Twitter links and other links, but at some point it sort of stopped working, so I had to use different browser. Anyways, and then there's this. News or whatever. I'm not quite sure what the source is. But it says Ukraine needs 8 million migrants to avoid demographic catastrophe, employment rep warns. Yeah, so it's like send the Ukrainian men to the meat grinder and then send these look Indian, maybe they're Pakistani immigrants to Ukraine to, repopulate. Sounds rather evil to me. And yeah, and here is Jack Posobiec, one of the dancers from the Epstein files. Fiasco. No one comes into the Oval Office and dictates terms. No one, except for Israel, of course. Many people did the same joke on Twitter, but it's very appropriate. And yeah, because Zelensky was trying to dictate terms, but yeah. Okay, let's load this if it loads. And this is uh, since I mentioned Germany, I didn't want to make a separate news store article of this, but this German government, Germany's Interior Ministry and left-wing NGOs are launching an advice center for those who think a family member or friend has spread conspiracy theories. Advice Compass on conspiracy thinking launches. Those affected and their environment receive confidential advice online and by telephone. So conspiracy theories are accompanied by lies and disinformation. They are spread deliberately and divide our society and destroy trust in independent science, free media, and democratic institutions. Conspiracy theories can lead to extremist ideologies and drive perpetrators to commit crimes and acts of violence. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories are spread particularly often. So it's basically, stuff when government does something like that, it basically proves and all these conspiracy theories true at least somewhat when they I don't know, jump the shark in this manner. Okay, then let's go to the next bit. So yeah, this was the Ukraine part, and then is Kennedy in the admin, and nowadays when I hear the name Kennedy, I can't think of Mr. Kennedy from WWE, a wrestler. So that's why he's a wrestler, because now RFK is in the administration, but there's also other Trump admin news here. So let's have a look what I have. So yeah. Yesterday, Trump, I think Truth, I think this is from Truth Social. Tomorrow night will be big. I will tell it like it is. So I at least checked before starting the stream. So far, um, I didn't see any evidence of Trump explaining what he meant by this. Like, is he gonna, what's he gonna, tell? What will be the thing that he tells? Okay, Trump will address joint session of the United States Congress on Tuesday, March 4th. Okay, so it's today, but I don't know what time. So it better be, when you do stuff like that, it better be big. But I have my doubts that it's gonna be that big. But okay, here's Secretary Kennedy, RFK. So he said this. So anti-Semitism, like racism, is a spiritual and moral malady that sickens societies and kills people with lethalities comparable to history's most deadly plagues. In recent years, the censorship and false narratives of woke cancel culture have transformed our great universities into greenhouses for this deadly and virulent pestilence. Making America healthy means building communities of trust and mutual respect based on free speech freedom and open debate. So lots of people are calling him out for this because it's like he was supposed to make America healthy, but then it's like this shouldn't be, he shouldn't be trying to police people's opinions or emotions or whatever. And like, why is anti-Semitism particularly his purview? It's like, it just seems like he's sold out. Here, Arsha Logos says, I've tried so hard not to be disgusted by you. You're absolutely no different. Selling your soul to the very men who killed much of your family, it's hard to comprehend stooping that low. Yeah, he's got a point. His dad, RFK, was killed by a Palestinian. Well, wasn't he like, was it Sirhan? Sirhan? Wasn't he sort of like a Manchurian candidate or something? I'm not, sure. Like, it's been a long time since I paid any attention to that, but like that's how I remember. I could be wrong. Anyways, and yeah, Department of Justice announces that the records of Seth Rich that were set to be released on March 10th will not be made public. Wow, the most transparent administration in history. So Seth Rich, he was, some guy who worked for the Democratic Party. Like I think it was 2016 when he was murdered, and of course there were all sorts of allegations that he was actually murdered by his own party. Like maybe somebody we maybe not pulled the trigger, but ordered the hit. Perhaps somebody whose last name starts with Clean and ends with Ton, like possibly something like that. But yeah, but why isn't it made? Why won't it be made public? And as far as I know, nobody was arrested for it, and he was definitely murdered. Like it wasn't an accident, if I remember correctly. And anyways, JD Vance news. It's JD Vance news. It wasn't JD Vance himself, so it doesn't really matter. But do you support RFK Jr. mandating companies like Coca-Cola to remove high fructose corn syrup? Yes or no? And then Mike Lee, who's he has this, gray check mark, so I think it means he's like in the government or something, but I'm not quite sure. Anyways, he says Coca-Cola uses high fructose corn syrup in the US because the US government has made cane sugar untenably expensive in America. Rather than forcing Coca-Cola to change its formula for Coke in the US, wouldn't it be better to fix our ridiculous sugar policies? Sounds like a good idea. If it's true, I don't know a great deal about American sugar policies. And so yeah, and this guy Jason Bessler points out no Epstein files, 16 billion to Israel in a month, 3 airstrikes in Somalia in 2 weeks, RFK Jr. pushing MMR vaccines for measles, new regime, same playbook, different marketing, same grift. Yeah, uh, this post aged horribly. I don't know. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I think this guy is just trolling or something. Like, has I don't know, have the Epstein files been released within the last 3 hours, or I don't know, Israel has gotten even more money. Who knows? And Trump has extended Biden's sanctions on Russia for another year, so he is still sort of helping out Ukraine, I guess. Uh, but Trump did say this: we should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant rape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions entering our country, so that we don't end up like Europe. Yeah, that's something I agree. Like makes a reason like sense for a president to say that. President Trump urges the U.S. to prioritize tackling rape gangs and drug cartels over fixating on Putin, so they don't end up like Europe. Yeah, well, it just summarizes. And there's federal task force to combat anti-Semitism announces visit to 10 college campuses that experienced incidents of anti-Semitism. How about anti-white hatred that's been rampant in the states for a decade or something, or no, it's like Jews have a special task force who will arrest anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists who claim Jews control America. Yeah, so that disproves the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Like Jews have no power in America because if they had power, then you wouldn't be arrested, right? Like that's how it works, right? And well, Elon Musk has now called on the U.S. to leave NATO and the United Nations. If this is true, if US is gonna leave those organizations, that's good. I think both organizations should be dismantled. Like I'm not saying it's necessary, but for United Nations, it probably would be just a net positive to do it overnight. But for NATO, of course, it is somewhat responsible for lots of defense in Europe. So if it was suddenly dismantled, it might be bad, but like overall, I don't like either organization. Okay, then let's go to the next topic, which is of course Israel delenda est. Israel has to be destroyed. Israel must be destroyed, and then I will point out post some evidence here or show some evidence why I think that. And of course, talking about the political entity, no harm to any particular people. That's not what I advocate. So yeah, around 25% of all Doge savings have already been given to Israel. I'm not sure how accurate this number is, but I guess it's still a significant portion. Here's the money that Doge saved us. Musk gives to Trump thanks, and then he brings it to Israel. That's how it works. Okay, update. Doge added another 50 billion to their savings, so now it's only 15%. Oh no. Oh yeah, and there is this. I forgot about this. So Trump posted this AI video of a remade Gaza Strip where he is at the pool with Netanyahu. So let's unpack this, as they say. So yeah, like Gaza after the narrative that this video gives is that after the Palestinians have been genocided, then they will make a really nice holiday resort in Gaza. And this guy, like, he sort of looks like Elon Musk, but I don't know if he's supposed to sort of look like, but he's just eating a quiche or something. And then there's these dancers with beards, like so I guess some trans. So get rid of the local Muslim population and bring in LGBT people and a golden Trump balloon. Okay, I don't want to play the music. Who knows if it's copyrighted or whatever. And money flowing to the children. This is like, and the Trump Golden Hotel. And what's this? Some goat head here. And a golden statue of Trump. And then there's Netanyahu and Trump having a beer at the pool. Trump Gaza. It's like, is it like a parody or something? It's like it seems completely insane. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just difficult for me to take it at face value because the face value interpretation to me is that they're just celebrating, like, once we genocide all those Palestinians, then we are gonna Gaza's gonna be so great and money will flow and we will have debauchery. It's gonna be like the new Vegas or Nevada or whatever. It's like, and Trump posted it. It's not like he's just some random dude. Like, what's going on here? This is so insane. Like, seeing stuff like that, like Biden is starting to sound like a good leader for America and the rest of the world. In Trump's first days of office, he has sent over 12 billion of our dollars to Israel. Let that sink in. So yeah, I don't know how many. So earlier they said 16 billion. Oh yeah, and then there's this spitting image was this comedy show with puppets from the 80s, like British, and this is about Israel. Let's have a look. It's only 45 seconds.
And the next contender, please. Your name, sir.
Yitzhak Shamir,
Your occupation.
the West Bank and Gaza,
And your specialist subject.
human rights.
Mr.
So yeah, this was it? Did he say Yitzhak Rabin? So he's like the prime minister of Israel back then, I think.
Shamir, you have 30 seconds.
No, Shamir. Okay, whatever.
Starting from now. According to Amnesty International, which country has imprisoned more than 5,000 people without trial in the last 3 years?
South Africa,
No, Israel. Between 1987 and 1989, which country killed 540 unarmed demonstrators?
South Africa,
No, Israel.
So yeah, here he is. Because this was probably made when apartheid in South Africa was still a thing, and that was the popular thing back in the day in the West to condemn South Africa for their practices. And now, 40 years later, of course, now they're the Boers, the white people in South Africa are sort of getting genocided themselves. So, maybe the country isn't doing that well. So maybe, despite not being perfect, maybe things were still better under apartheid back in the day.
Which country has shot dead more than 110 children since 1987?
South Africa.
No, Israel. Which country produces the nicest oranges?
Israel,
No, South Africa.
So yeah,
And the next
I doubt they would be able to do comedy like this on TV nowadays. And yeah, Trump has approved 10 billion in weapons deals for Israel since retaking office. I don't know if this is included in the 16 billion or is a separate thing. Is probably included in that, but whatever. And if you only knew how different things could be, so yeah, giving the seat to Netanyahu and calling out Zelensky. I don't know. It's just depressing. Uh, And yeah, here it says that 39 states in United States have an Israeli loyalty test law making it illegal to criticize Israel. This is wild and doesn't at all sound like a free nation, but rather an occupied one. Why should an American citizen need to agree to take an Israeli loyalty test? Yeah. I don't know. It's just so yeah. That's why I say Israel delenda est. It's like this is insane, and I'm not American, but America has great influence over Europe as well and the rest of the world. So and is damn it, if Israel is puppeteering America, then it's America's gonna screw us over too, wherever you are. Okay, but let's move on to the next story. That was the last Delenda Est. So yeah, China has 0 point energy. Well, no, not really, but it's just, I don't know, clickbaity title in this. So China discovers limitless energy source that could power the country for 60,000 years. Geologists in Beijing claim. So yeah, somebody somewhere pointed out that how it's a really bad title because it's limitless energy, but then there's a limit. 60,000 is like, seemingly limitless from our perspective, if the number is correct, but it's still a limit. But this actually just means they have China discovers massive thorium deposits, potential limitless energy source. China has reportedly discovered a vast thorium deposit that could provide enough energy to power the country for 60,000 years, according to a declassified national geological survey. The discovery was made at the Bayan Obo mining complex in Inner Mongolia, an autonomous region in northern China, where scientists estimate the site could yield 1 million tons of thorium if fully exploited. So yeah, I don't know how much is gonna affect things. Is energy gonna be cheaper in China? Is, I don't know. Is it gonna power the war machine or whatever? I don't know, but just reporting on it mainly because just the clickbait title is like, 0 point energy is, um, sounds cool. Let's move on. So yeah, Mozilla Firefox have a evil update or terms of service. Wait, is it this one? Okay, they were the wrong way around. So yeah, Mozilla just changed the Firefox TOS. If you're a privacy person, might be time to move off. So you give Mozilla certain rights and permissions. You give Mozilla all rights necessary to operate Firefox, including processing data as we describe in the Firefox privacy notice, as well as acting on your behalf to help you navigate the internet. When you upload or input information through Firefox, you hereby grant us a non-exclusive royalty-free worldwide license to use that information to help you navigate, experience, and interact with online content as you indicate with your use of Firefox. So input your credit card information through Firefox to buy, I don't know, like a friggin' food for your hamster, and then Mozilla has the a right to get to your information, or you, I don't know, upload your private pictures, like send them via email to your friend or family, and they get royalty free access to those things. Like, this is insane. And so yeah, but then Mozilla is trying to backtrack on Firefox's controversial data privacy update. Mozilla is already trying to backtrack on blah blah blah. Okay. So oops, Mozilla might be selling your data after all. So yeah, this is, and I think I saw someone other article or claim saying that, oh, it's not what they, that it's not what it seems like, that it's not as bad as we write here, that it's misunderstood, and that's possible, but like, you'd think they have lawyers to um, write these policies in the way that they the companies want. Like, Mozilla is not like a small indie company or something, so you think they have lawyers who know how to phrase these things properly. So it sounds like bullshit that they don't want to do it. um but this is just a gross corporate overreach. I've mentioned it before, but you often hear about government overreach, but people don't complain enough about corporate overreach, and this is definitely it. And the reason, like, that they have even the goal to even suggest this, even if they don't end up um, like enacting this policy or anything, but that they have the goal to mention it is because the companies are not afraid. Like, even if this policy isn't meant to be as bad as it sounds, all the companies should be afraid to be, even misinterpreted in a way that, they try to basically pilfer your private information and use it for their advantage. Like, all company, they, that's when, we know that we live in a, I don't know, more better and more sane world, when also the corporations, because there's a saying that, or some, idea that the government is supposed to be afraid of its people, and instead of the people are afraid of the government. But same goes for the corporations. They should also be afraid of the quote unquote consumer, and they should be afraid that, if they do shit like this, they should be worried that, people will get mad about it. But in the past few years, we've seen, many similar policies from many companies like Adobe and crap like that, or even like, Wizards of the Coast with Dungeons and Dragons, the OGL debacle that they wanted. Like, if you made some supplement to Dungeons and Dragons, even though you were supposed, like, they had granted like free license for people to do D&D materials, but then they try to change it that they own the materials or something and can monetize it the way they want, and whatever. So yeah, my point is the corporation should be afraid to do bullshit, to pull bullshit like this. Yeah. Okay. And then debt. Debt is what brings us together. Uh, so yeah, there's this so much messy. The GOP. So this is like the one good politician in United States. Representative. So he's not a senator. He's the other House of Representatives or whatever. So the GOP budget resolution that passed the House this week increases the debt limit from 36 trillion to 40 trillion, and spends enough dollars to increase the debt from 36 trillion to 56 trillion dollars over the next 10 years. But yay for tax cut. I'm the only Republican who voted no. So yeah, he voted no, and the other Republicans voted yay, and the Democrats voted nay. And yeah, if one other Republican joined him, then it would have been even, I guess. And yeah, and here it says the Republican Jewish coalition pledged unlimited spending to block Massey if he decides to run. Yeah, this is weird. Like, why? And he's he's trying to fight getting United States deeper into debt, and then why are Jews, the Jewish coalition, why are they getting their knickers in a twist? And then, wait, okay, I just wanted to ask Grok, the AI for Twitter or Xitter, about debt. So, how much is the US in debt? Brief answer. As of early 2025, the US national debt exceeds 36.5 trillion. To whom are they indebted to? Short answer. The US is indebted primarily to domestic entities like individuals, banks, and institutions holding treasury securities, foreign investors, notably Japan, China, and the Federal Reserve. Are those banks, institutions, and foreign investors and Federal Reserve in debt? Yes, many of these entities carry their own debts. Banks, institutions, they often borrow to fund operation and investments, owing money to depositors, other banks, bondholders. Foreign investors, countries like Japan and China, have their own national debts. Blah blah blah. Federal Reserve, it doesn't owe in the traditional sense, but manages liabilities like currency in circulation and bank reserves balanced against its assets, treasury securities. Debt is a common feature across these players, varying in scale and structure. So I asked, if everybody is in debt, who ultimately owns all that money? If everybody is in debt, no single entity owns all the money in a literal sense. Money in modern economies isn't a fixed pile owned by someone, it's a system of claims and obligations. Debt creates money. When banks lend, they generate deposits. When governments issue bonds, they circulate funds. Ultimately, the ownership is distributed across creditors, individuals, institutions, and governments, holding assets like cash, bonds, and IOUs. But the system itself is circular, with wealth existing as a network of interlocking promises, not a stash held by one's ultimate owner. Sounds like, hey, stolen Hellcat, welcome. But yeah, it sounds like, one ring to uh, darkness. How does the, Tolkien quote go? And one ring to find them, and in the darkness bind them, and all that stuff. It's like it's circular, like I don't know. And this, I was told this, debt creates money. I was told this one. I heard about this long time ago, and I was told it was some conspiracy theory, but I guess it's fact now. Could you say, in other words, that the debt is a way to control political entities? You could say that debt acts as a lever to influence political entities. When governments or nations owe money, creditors, whether banks, foreign governments, or institutions, gain leverage. They can pressure policy decisions, is demand austerity, shape economic priorities to ensure repayment. Historically, debt has tethered weaker states to stronger ones, like post World War One Germany to modern debtor nations under IMF loans. It's less about outright control, more about nudging behavior through financial dependence. I don't know. This sounds so like evil, like So I asked, is Israel in debt or a debtor? Israel is indeed in debt, but not a debtor in the sense of being unable to manage its obligations. As of late 2023, Israel's national debt was around 315 billion, with the debt to GDP ratio about 61.4%. This ratio jumped to 69 by the end of 2024. Blah blah blah. But it's like, okay. Uh, like, okay, so their debt level is comparatively low. Like US is 121% in debt, Japan is 251%, and so on. And but is there any nation that is not in debt? No nation is completely free of debt in a modern global economy. Claims of debt-free countries like Macau, Brunei, or Liechtenstein often stem from outdated and oversimplified data and don't hold up under scrutiny. Every country has some form of financial obligation, whether it's public debt owed by the government, external debt owed by foreign entities, or intra-governmental liabilities. Even nations with low debt to GDP ratios and substantial reserves, like Kuwait or Norway, still borrow or manage debt as part of economic operations. For instance, Norway's government debt was about 41 of GDP, 41% in 2023, despite its massive sovereign wealth fund. Brunei has debt around 2 to 3% of GDP tied to infrastructure and development. The idea of a truly debt-free nation ignores how interconnected and dynamic modern finance is. Debt is a tool, not just a burden. I asked, has this fact of all nations being in debt been a constant throughout history or a more modern development? So debt among nations isn't a constant throughout history. It's more a modern development tied to the evolution of complex economies and state systems. In ancient times, like in Mesopotamia or Rome, debt existed, but it was mostly personal or local. Kings might owe merchants or temples, not other states, in a systematic way. Empires often funded wars through plunder or tribute, not borrowing. The concept of national debt as we know it emerged around 17th century with the rise of centralized states and banking. Dutch and British pioneered government bonds to finance wars. For example, England's debt spiked after 1690s with the Bank of England's founding. This is interesting. England's debt spiked after Bank of England's founding. German miracle kicked out the usury of central banks, says stolen Hellcats. Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, because like Maybe I'm just old fashioned. I'm, a simple barbarian dude. But for me, both usury and debt don't sound like good things. And a society, a healthy society, would do their best to get rid of both, or at least um, lower the amount of it. But like Grok here, that's certain clearly repeating just what is the common modern ideology when it comes to economics, seems to say that, oh, that is a great thing, and this just sounds completely insane to me. Anyways, by the 19th century, most major powers were borrowing. I think Napoleon's France or colonial Britain. Pre-modern societies often operated without persistent state debt. Many ran on cash or barter systems, and rules avoided borrowing unless desperate. Today's universal nation debt reflects fiat money, global trade, and interconnected finance. Every state borrows to invest, manage crises, flex power. It's a feature of modernity, not a historical constant. Even creditor nations like China with 13 trillion dollars in debts play the game now. So I asked, what would happen if all that debt were to suddenly disappear? If all national debt vanished overnight, the global economy would implode. Debt isn't just a burden, it's the backbone of modern money. When governments borrow, they issue bonds with banks, investors, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I'm just saying, we should get rid of all the debt. Get rid of all the usury and debt. Just, reboot, uh, great reset. Why not have our own great reset? Get rid of all the debt. That's something to be uh, to strive for. Let's move on to the next story. Those like, and I'm certainly no like expert in economics or anything. I'm a very simple guy, especially to stuff like that. But this just sounds like completely insane how debt is treated nowadays. So yeah, Gene Hackman is dead. The actor, and this is just because his death was a bit sus. Even the police think so. So, Gene Hackman's wife found mummified and bloated by workers who hadn't been seen the couple for 2 weeks. So yeah, so yes, this is Gene Hackman. Wouldn't recognize him. So let's see. Gene Hackman death investigation. So Gene Hackman is an actor. If you're a bit older, you definitely will know him. But maybe if you're younger, you don't know. But he used to be in a lot of movies back in the day, in these 90s, even before that. And after, never was my favorite actor, but at least I have to give some respect to him, and rest in peace and stuff. Since I guess he had still had talent, and he's somebody recognizable. Anyways, death. Gene Hackman death investigation. Experts say pills, phones, and trash could provide important clues. Gene Hackman's wife Betsy Arakawa were found dead in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home on February 26th. So yeah, circumstances of Hackman death make it so unusual, says forensic pathologist. New Mexico authorities launched an investigation into deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, classical pianist Betsy Arakawa, after officials found the couple dead in their Santa Fe home nearly 1 week ago. While Hackman and Arakawa's bodies were found under what detectives are calling suspicious circumstances, officials confirmed no external trauma was seen on either Hackman or Arakawa, and the case remains open pending autopsy and toxicology reports. Detectives recovered 2 cell phones, an orange prescription bottle, and a 2025 planner while inspecting the residence, according to search warrant inventory list obtained by Fox News Digital. Okay, what is 2025 planner? Like a schedule book something? How's that relevant? I don't know. Yeah, so I don't want to read all these, but it says something about mummified, bloated, and mummified body of the wife. Let's see. Yeah, in a search warrant affidavit obtained by Fox News Digital, officials revealed that Arakawa's body was found decomposed with bloating on her face and mummification in her hands and feet. Hackman was also found to have the same signs of decomposition as his wife. There was something about the way that his wife was described in the bathroom that I think is worth looking into a bit more, Valentin said. She was in the bathroom. I guess there was a space heater, and there were some pills that seemed to be strewn. I don't know where. If that space heater was turned on, that might change the way her decomposition looks. I guess, yeah, if the heater heated her body. But it's, yeah, like both of them are dead. Like, did they commit suicide? Or were they murdered by somebody, or maybe, or it could be that Gene Hackman, he was 95 years old, maybe he just died because he's old, and then the wife was like, oh, I don't want to live by myself, and then she killed herself. I don't know, but it does sound a bit weird. Probably was a fairly rich couple and stuff. So of course, there are, if you're in Hollywood, people tend to go in suspicious ways every now and then. So maybe they knew something that some people didn't want them to reveal. Maybe they owed money. Who knows? I guess it's like another interesting thing is that I haven't, like, you if you just do an internet search on this, you can find articles, but like on Twitter, people didn't really talk about that much. Like I saw some people mentioning something, Gene Hackman in some sort of unusual circumstances, but like people weren't talking about it openly. So that smelled a bit sus to me as well. I guess maybe it's just people are afraid because it hints to a criminal conspiracy, so people don't want to talk about it, so they're not labeled in some way or something. It's like that, or the possibility of a criminal conspiracy. Even the police seem to be suspecting it. But anyways, let's move to the next story. So yeah, rest in peace, Gene Hackman and his wife. So yeah, then gaming news. Let's see what we have here. So yeah, first is Half-Life 3. So Half-Life 3 is closer than ever based on new leak. So yeah, let's check this. More so than ever before, it looks like Half-Life 3 might actually end up seeing the light of day. In recent months, rumors tied to Half-Life 3 have been gaining a lot of steam, while it was previously thought that Valve had abandoned work on a new mainline Half-Life game over a decade ago. That seems to have shifted in recent years if leaks stemming from Valve are any indication. Yet another leak from Valve has only further made clear that work on his Half-Life project is ongoing and it might be nearing its final stages. These ads are so annoying. So yeah, discovered in the metadata of a new Dota 2 update, it was found that Valve has recently done new work on HLX, which is the code name for what is assumed to be a Half-Life 3. It would be Half-Life 10. It's a bit too like on the nose or something. Maybe this is like a misdirection. People think it's Half-Life, but it's actually, I don't know, dog training simulator, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see. We'll see if it actually, if they will release it. Like, I guess then I should also replay Half Life Two. I don't think I've even played like the episodes because it's a bit weird the way Half Life Two works. Like, there's Half Life Two, and then there's episode Half Life Two Episode One and Episode Two. At least I think that's how the game is, and I don't think I played the episode, so maybe I should. Like, I've never been the biggest Half-Life fan, but I think they're decent games, but not, I don't think they're the best games ever. But anyways, then there's Monster Hunter Wilds news. It was released recently, so yeah, because there's many like negative reviews on Steam for it. And the devs say that they have polished our game as much as possible, producer says, which might not be very reassuring for the PC players experience performance issues. Yeah, it's supposedly really badly optimized, which is why people aren't happy. Um, but yeah, I do think, like, especially like my computer is just like a couple of years old, but like, it has struggles running some games. And yeah, I do think that people, the developers should pay more attention that, it doesn't matter that, it looks the best game ever on the fanciest settings, since most people don't have the fanciest computer, and nor do they really care about. They just want the game to look okay and to function basically. But that's not what the developers, or at least the publishers, the money people, don't seem to care so much about that, because they can't, it's not very sexy to advertise it saying that, hey, our game works, even though nowadays it would be like groundbreaking stuff basically. But anyways, this is Monster Hunter Wilds DLC packs. So a game that was just released like a week or two ago, or whenever it was, already has this much stuff. And you can say it's optional. Yeah, it's only like, battle cry, hairstyle, makeup, face paint. But it's like, I wouldn't be buying this game, like, unless I can get all of this, the game and all the DLC in some neat bundle that doesn't cost too much. But because, for me, like, I see a game like this, and I think like, oh, it seems interesting. And then I look at the DLC, and it's like, okay, I don't want to start cherry picking, or researching, like, okay, maybe I don't need this pendant avian wind chime DLC, but oh, certainly this layered armor. That's, I've heard this is, necessary to get the full experience, because I'm old. Back when I was young, you bought a game, it came on, a few discs or a CD or a DVD, and then it was the full game. You normally didn't have to update it, you didn't have to buy DLC. It was the full game. You didn't, you paid for it once, and it would work as long as the disc worked, unless I don't know, your dog ate it or something. So yeah, I just don't want to be, I don't want to have to think like a financial analyst when buying a fucking video game. I just want to see, like, okay, it costs whatever the price is, and preferably $5 or less, and then buy it and then play it eventually when I have the time. But anyways, let's see what's here. And yeah, so and here's claims that Japanese people are angry and disappointed over the pants of the female protagonist in Pokemon ZA. So it's some new upcoming Pokemon game. But okay, I have to say this is a bit sus. Like, if these are Japanese, why is it all in English? Is it being like translated by AI or something? So yeah, the Pokemon, the heroine is also sad in her pants these days. Let me wear a skirt. Okay, it sounds like it's AI translated or something. To be honest, what I want most from Pokemon ZA is the implementation of the female protagonist skirt clothes. Please do something. Pokemon ZA, please dress up a girl cutely, change clothes. A long skirt is fine. Please don't worry about polycole. This polycole. Let me change cute clothes. Not sure. I saw the period. So yeah, is in the skirt. So yeah, for a skirt. So a lot of people are complaining, or maybe it's like one guy who has millions of puppet accounts and wanting a skirt. But hey, like, yeah, definitely, like, nowadays it shouldn't be a great deal, like, if they have few different clothing options. Like, I don't think it would take too much space from the cartridge or the file or whatever to have the option of wearing a skirt or pants for the female, or maybe have few different kinds of pants and skirts for the character. Like it shouldn't be too difficult for Nintendo to do that, but maybe it is. But of course, this is at least seems like it's another sign that Nintendo is going woke. Like right now, after everybody else is trying to get rid of wokeness, but maybe they're a bit retarded. That's literally what retarded means, to be behind. Uh, so that if they are going woke now, because unisex and all that. But anyways, Square Enix's Naoki Yoshida has been demoted and is no longer on company's board of directors. He's not necessarily demoted, but yeah, Naoki Yoshida, he was so well, let's just read. Last week, Square Enix announced changes to its management structure and published its updated list of company executives. Among other personnel changes, Final Fantasy XIV director and producer Naoki Yoshida, known by fans by Yoshi P as Yoshi P, seems to have been removed from Square Enix's board of directors. Yoshida became an executive officer at Square Enix in 2015, followed by a promotion to executive director in 2018. Their official Square Enix company overview still lists Yoshida as a director at the time of writing, but the latest announcement from February 27, 2025 lists him only as an executive officer, suggesting a demotion from the position. Somebody said in some comments that it's not necessarily demotion, that he didn't want to be on the board. I don't know much about the inter company politics of Square Enix or this guy Yoshida or anything, but uh, so I don't know about that. But there's somebody pointing out this because there was this controversy last year about Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO, that there was some trans character that people really didn't like, and Naoki Yoshida was behind it, I guess, at least in some say. If you want more Vuk Lamat in Final Fantasy XIV's post-Dawn Trail patches, Naoki Yoshida has good news for you. If you're a fan of Vuk Lamat, then Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida has good news for you, as she's a central focus on the MMO game's post-Dawn Trail patches. Okay, this didn't age well. And somebody also said that he was, I think somebody said he was like a director on Final Fantasy 16 or something, and that, and complained that Final Fantasy 16 release isn't an RPG or anything, and it sucks. The last Final Fantasy I played was Final Fantasy 12. It was a step in the wrong direction, but not terrible or anything. And there's this, the director of Final Fantasy Rebirth. So this is some different guy, but from like Square Enix. So director of Final Fantasy Rebirth spoke the truth a few days ago. They now make games for global audience guided by ethical reviews instead of prioritizing Japan and creative freedom. The term JRPG will soon disappear, and Japanese games will be anything but Japanese. Yeah, it is. You know, concerning. But of course, like my understanding is that the Final Fantasy VII remakes aren't really proper RPGs either, more like action RPGs. Like, because the original Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, so uh, I'm not eager to play the remakes, because I doubt they would be better. What I know of them, it just seems like ruined the original game. So yeah, and well, yeah, and the Final Fantasy 16 supposedly is more like an action RPG, not a JRPG either. But anyways, then Microsoft is permanently shutting down Skype in May 2025. So yeah, it's Skype is RIP, RIP. Like goddamn Microsoft. Like, of course, you can say that because back when Skype was a thing, like I remember using it like 20 years ago almost, calling between different countries and stuff. So, but back then there weren't many options. But now, of course, practically every cell phone communication app you can call to anybody anywhere in the world, pretty much. But it still sucks, like Microsoft buying something good and then ruining it. That's not good, or destroying it. And then there's this Shadow of Mordor's brilliant Nemesis system is locked away by Warner Bros. Patent until 2036 despite studio shutdown as industry reacts to closure. So yeah, what was it? Monolith, the company that made it, was shut down. And I liked Shadow of Mordor, the first one. The second one had some, weird loot box stuff, so I never touched it. But yeah, the Nemesis system is like, they sort of randomize, like some orcs to give them names and personalities, and sort of history between the player character and the enemies, and they patented the system, but then they didn't really use it. And this is just like, if I was the emperor of the world, I would, let's say, I would make patenting game mechanics very difficult, because that clearly stifles innovation if you cannot steal, because that's how games used to develop back in the day, in the 90s, that people make Doom and then everybody wants to make their own Doom, and then or Doom clone, as they used to say, and come up with new innovations and improve things and stuff. But now that it's big companies owning, making games and owning their copyrights and all that stuff, now they care more about owning the patent than making good games. So that's just bullshit. And what's this? Oh yeah, and now there's supposedly, last week I reported on another game that Grok, the AI supposedly make, and now there's supposedly made this game. So less than 24 hours of work. So okay, let's just read this. I believe that Grok can be a serious tool to build quality games. I've been pushing the limits of Grok 3 by having it code this retro Doom inspired gothic shooter from scratch. It's just been less than 24 hours of work, and I think I got it a pretty good shape. It was able to create a procedural level for me every time I reloaded, thanks to IBAB and the entire XAI team for creating this life-changing product for me. This is the future of gaming. P.S. I tried Claude Sonnet 3.7 and it failed pretty badly at making this game. I don't know, is this another AI or what? But yeah, let's just have a bit of a look of the game. It looks okay. Like, certainly nothing exciting, but like, just taking it into account, it was made in 24 hours and by AI. But I don't know to what extent. Like, how much do you have to, give it commands? You have to, copy paste details from the prompts of the AI and stuff. I don't know how it actually works, but personally, I'd be interested. Like, because I don't know shit about, I can't draw, I can't code, but I'd like to make a game. Like, if I can just be the the creative part of the game, like the story and stuff like that, make an RPG or a point and click adventure game or something. I'd be interested if AI can help me, realize my dreams and stuff. Like one day, like clearly it's gonna, I'm pretty sure it's gonna take a few years until we get there, but maybe one day. Like, I'm not very, like, I don't expect AI to make truly good games anytime soon. Like, if you just tell the game like, hey, make me an RPG, something like Baldur's Gate, like, I don't think it's gonna be great or anything. But like, if it can code the mechanics or maybe some make the art and stuff, and then you can, like, write the dialogue and story and stuff like that, then it might be pretty good. And then I mentioned Doom, so let's have a look this funny controversy. So here's Sandy Peterson, who is known for his influence with the Call of Cthulhu tabletop RPG. And I didn't know he joined id Software, like, that he was involved in Doom. But anyway, he said, in 1993, I joined id Software. There was a Doom Bible written by Tom Hall, but I only ever got a brief scheme of it. I think it was used by the artists and John Romero to some extent, but I didn't really access it. One of my jobs was actually to write the Doom manual. As part of that, I had to name all the enemies. I didn't stretch my brain too much far. I mean, Zombie wasn't a tough call. I changed the Bruiser Brothers to Hell Barons, so there's that. But I also had to create the Doom guy's backstory. I wrote about 5 entire pages of story. I discussed his previous career, why he was now embittered, what the corporate experiments of Phobos were about, and so forth. Then I started cutting back on the story. I thought it was too much, and who cared anyway? In the end, the final backstory, I have just 2 sentences. You show up on the Phobos and there's monsters. But really, what else do you need? I view this as my greatest contribution to digital gaming. If you want to read text, get a book. Anyway, if you love backstory, I'm the bad guy here. If you hate backstory, I'm your Huckleberry. Okay, but then there's community note. John Romero, one of the creators of Doom, has rebuked these claims. Um, Hello again, Sandy. This post isn't accurate. Kevin Cloud wrote the Doom manual. Next step, Hall wrote the original story, which came in summarized on the entirety of page 1 of Doom manual. Wait, I think there was another. Is it this one? Is it, I sort of remember reading another comment, or is it this one from John Romero? Added after Tom left was the Doom guy assaulting a superior and subsequently shipped to Mars. That's it. Game history is critically important, particularly for games like Doom. Retconning into someone else's credits like that Tom Hall does a disservice to his work. Yeah, so is it like stolen valor from Sandy Peterson, or is it his memory so bad? I'm just wondering, what has John Romero done? Sigil. Is it? Are there like some like more recent mods for Doom or something? Because back in the was it like early 2000s, there was Daikatana, and it was supposed to be his magnum opus, but it was a failure and stuff. So what has he done in the past 20 years? Because he used to be a big name, and he's still respected and stuff. We are hiring. Oh, cool. I can say, yeah, hire me. I don't know shit about coding or anything. I like games. Okay, I guess he's sort of starting his own company. Whatever. Wait, he lives in Galway, Ireland. Is he Irish or did he just move there? Whatever, that doesn't matter. But that's the last story, news story of the day. So yeah, I'm gonna head out. But to summarize, the most important point is the Epstein files and the lack of their um, revelation. They haven't been revealed, and so that pretty much does imply or incriminate much of the political establishment, especially in the United States. But I'd say that probably Epstein had friends in many countries, not just United States and the United States politicians. So just don't forget that. Just keep it in your mind, pretty much. Whenever you see a politician talking on TV or on the internet nowadays, who uses TV, just pay attention. Like, think about it. Like, he might be saying some stuff you agree with, but it's like, then think to yourself like, okay, but was this guy on Epstein Island doing some naughty business there? Like, most likely he was. But with that, I'm gonna head out. I'm at Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.